On Sunday afternoon, Jeff Torborg and his Chicago White Sox are hosting the Milwaukee Brewers. A nice play coming up here in the top of the second. No score, Greg Vaughn at bat against White Sox starter Greg Hibbert. He leads off with a sharp ground ball down the third baseline. Robin Ventura dives to his right, smothers the ball, and then throws Vaughn out from his knees. We're going to take one more look at this really nice play by White Sox third baseman Robin Ventura. Dives, smothers the ball, and then throws Vaughn out from his knees. Chicago took a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the second on a Scott Fletcher sacrifice fly. Now in the top of the third with 2 outs and Mike Felder on second base. Robin Yount hits a line drive single to left field. Felder beats Dan Pasqua's throw to the plate. This ties the game up at 1-1. RBI number 47 for Robin Yount. In the top of the fourth, Chicago White Sox starter Greg Hibbert works out of trouble. Here he picks up his 4th strikeout victim of the game, getting Rob Deere swinging for the second out of the inning. In the bottom of the fourth with 2 outs and pinch runner Steve Lyons on second base, Scott Fletcher against Milwaukee starter Mark Knudsen, and he picks up his 2nd RBI of the game and 29th of the season. It's a line drive single into center field. Lyons scores on a close play at the plate. Chicago leads 2-1. We're going to take a second look at this play. Lyons might have been out. Charlie O'Brien with a nice tag. Lyons doesn't quite get the plate, but he was called safe. 2-1 Chicago after 4. In the top of the fifth with 2 outs and no on, Mike Felder at the plate against Greg Hibbert. And Felder takes Hibbert deep to left field for a solo home run that ties the game up at 2-2. For Mike Felder, that's only his 2nd home run and 13th RBI of the season. A walk and a wild pitch put Robin Yount on second base. Gary Sheffield stepped up to the plate, and he'll bloop a single into short right field. Robin Yount comes in to score, and that gives the Milwaukee Brewers a 3-2 lead. RBI number 54, Gary Sheffield. But the White Sox tied the game up at 3-3 on a Dan Pasqua sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 5th. Moving on to the top of the 8th with the game now tied up at 4-4 with 1 out and 1 on. Rob Deere at the plate against Chicago White Sox reliever Don Paul. And Rob Deere takes Paul deep for a 2-run home run to left field. He gives the Milwaukee Brewers a 6-4 lead. For Big Rob Deere, that's home run number 18. RBIs 47 and 48 on the season. The White Sox would retie the game once again at 6-6. And the game would go into extra innings. In the top of the 11th, with 2 outs and Milwaukee now leading 7-6, Greg Brock against Bobby Thigpen. Brock hits a 2-run single into right field. Milwaukee leads 9-6. Milwaukee went on to beat Chicago by the final 9-8. The winner was Mirabel. He's 3-2. Loser Radinsky 6-1, and Edens picked up his first save.
Seattle Mariners catcher Dave Valley a little embarrassed after stumbling on the turf going after a wild pitch by Matt Young. As you see him go down. Dave Winfield knocked in 2 runs for the California Angels on Sunday afternoon. And here's his first one in the top of the 3rd inning with 1 out. Donnie Hill scores on the play. Harold Reynolds goes for the fielder's choice at second, throws over to first. But that's an error on Reynolds, and it was 2-0 California. Alvin Davis added a sacrifice fly to cut that lead in half to make it 2-1. Then Bill Schroeder came up, and he hit 2 home runs in the game. This is his first one in the top of the 4th inning, a solo shot with 1 out off of Matt Young. His 4th of the year, and that made it 3-1 California. Jim Abbott went 7 innings, improving to 7-9, as he gave up 2 runs on 7 hits and walked 4 batters and struck out 3. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning, he strikes out Ken Griffey Jr. for the 2nd out in the inning, so Jim Abbott gets the victory in this one. The Angels add a pair of runs on 2 solo home runs off of reliever Gene Harris. Here in the top of the 8th inning, Dante Bichette hits this 1-out solo home run. His 13th of the season, RBI number 44. That made it 4-1 California. 2 batters later, after Lee Stevens had struck out, the batter is Bill Schroeder, and this is his 2nd home run of the game as he takes him into right field. That makes it 5-1 California. They go on to win this one 6-2. The Mariners have their 3-game winning streak snapped. Brian Harvey worked the final 2 innings to pick up his 12th save on the year. Here he gets the hackman, Jeffrey Leonard, to look at that one. That strikeout ended the game, and for the first time this season, the California Angels win in the Kingdome. They avoid the sweep, and they win 6-2 on
The Houston Astros. In the top of the 3rd, no score. Franklin Stubbs will lead off the inning against Bruce Hurst, the San Diego starter, with a solo home run to right field that gives the Houston Astros a 1-0 lead. Home run number 14 and RBI number 38 on the season for Franklin Stubbs. Moving on to the top of the 5th, San Diego starter Bruce Hurst pitched a very strong ball game this afternoon. Here he strikes out Rafael Ramirez swinging for his 7th strikeout victim in the game to end the inning. Hurst went 7 innings, he allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, and he struck out 7. In the bottom of the 5th with 2 outs and Eddie Williams on second base, Mark Parent at bat. And he flares a single to short right field off of Houston starter Jim DeShays. Williams comes in to score, and that ties the game up at 1-all. RBI number 10 for Mark Parent. In the top of the sixth with 2 outs and no on, Bill Doran at bat. And he will stroke a solo home run to left field off of Bruce Hurst. And the Houston Astros regain the lead at 2-1. For second baseman Bill Doran, that's home run number 4 and RBI number 27 on the season. Jack Clark tied the game up at 2-all with the sacrifice fly in the bottom of the sixth. Now in the top of the eighth with 1 out and Franklin Stubbs on third base. Terry Poole against San Diego reliever Greg Harris. And Poole lays down a squeeze bunt in front of the mound. Stubbs scores on the pretty squeeze bunt by Poole. And the Houston Astros lead the San Diego Padres by the score of 3-2. Heads-up play by the Astros catches the San Diego Padres napping. In the bottom of the eighth with 2 outs and 1 on, Jack Clark at bat. And Jack Clark will take Dave Smith deep to left field. Clark just rips this one high and deep for a 2-run dinger. And the Padres regain the lead at 4-3. Home run number 17 and RBIs 39 and 40 for Jack Clark. One more look at the home run swing that would prove to be the game winner. Craig Lefferts pitched the ninth for San Diego. Here he gets Franklin Stubbs to ground out 4-3 for the last out of the ball game, as the San Diego Padres hold on to beat the Houston Astros by the final score of 4-3. Winning pitcher in relief is Greg Harris. He is now 5-5. The losing pitcher in relief is Dave Smith. His record is 2-3, and Craig Lefferts picked up his 14th save.
From Shea Stadium in New York, the New York Mets keep their one-game lead in the National League East with a 6-0 shutout over the St. Louis Cardinals. In the bottom of the first inning, the Mets got all the runs they needed off Jose De Leon as Kevin McReynolds got his 50th RBI of the year, a single to left field scoring Greg Jefferies. Dwight Gooden went 7 innings for the Mets, allowing 6 hits and no runs. He also struck out 4 batters, including Terry Pendleton, who he caught looking here in the top of the second inning. In the bottom of the third inning, the Mets would increase their lead to 2-0. Dave Magadan came to bat against De Leon and would single to right field just over the head of Jose Oquendo. Darrell Boston came in to score Magadan's 37th RBI. The Mets led it 2-0 in the bottom of the third inning. With the victory, Bud Harrelson and the Mets kept pace with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they still remain a game ahead in the National League East. They got some big insurance runs in the bottom of the fifth inning as Mackie Sasser tied a career high with 4 RBIs in one game, all on one swing of the bat. He had his first career Grand Slam home run. He pulled it down the right field line. His 6th home run in the year, scoring Greg Jefferies, Darryl Strawberry, and Kevin McReynolds. That made it 6-0 Mets in the bottom of the fifth inning, all those runs coming with 2 outs. In the top of the 6th inning, Willie McGee would extend his hitting streak to 20 games, which is the longest streak currently in the National League. He gets it the hard way as Greg Jefferies makes a nice diving attempt, but McGee is safe at first with the infield single. In the top of the 8th inning, Bob Ojeda on in relief. He pitched 2 scoreless innings of relief. Willie McGee once again hits it to Jefferies. Jefferies has trouble again, but this time he's able to get the ball over to first base despite falling down. He throws McGee out from the seat of his pants. Move to the top of the 9th inning. Bob Ojeda allowed only 1 hit in his 2 innings of work, and he gets Jose Oquendo to pop out to Dave Magadan, ending the game. Dwight Gooden gets to win his 8th consecutive victory. He is now 11-5. Jose De Leon took the loss. He's 6-11, 6-0 Mets.
It's a hot day in Pittsburgh on Sunday afternoon as the Philadelphia Phillies look to sweep the Pittsburgh Pirates. Top of the first inning with 1 out and nobody on. Darren Dalton batting against Doug Drabeck. He takes him deep for his 6th home run of the season. RBI number 29 as Bobby Bonilla can't get this one, and it's 1-0 Philadelphia. Still in the top of the first. A great play coming up with 2 outs. Von Hayes with the bullet, but Gary Reedus, the Pirates' first baseman, makes the diving stop to end the inning. The bottom of the second inning, Bobby Bonilla is up to bat against Pat Combs, and he takes him deep. The only problem is it's foul as it just goes to the left of the foul screen there, and the replay will show the same thing. As Bobby Bonilla is denied a home run, he would later strike out to end the bottom of the first inning. So you take one more look at just how close it was. And it's a hot and humid day at Three Rivers Stadium, and that's Dennis Cook, Philadelphia Phillies pitcher, as he tries to cool off out in the bullpen with Roger McDowell. In the bottom of the 4th inning, the Pirates come up with a pair of runs to take the lead with 1 out, and Barry Bonds up to bat against Pat Combs. He'll hit this ground ball single into right field. That'll score Andy Van Slyke. RBI number 73 for Bonds, and it ties the score up at 1 apiece. And Dennis Cook has fashioned himself a nifty little hat out there in the bullpen with the help of Roger McDowell. Still in the bottom of the 4th, Jose Lean lifts this fly ball out into left field. Randy Reddy makes a nice running catch Scoring on the play is Barry Bonds on the sacrifice. RBI number 37 for Leaned, and that gave the Buccos a 2-1 lead as you take one more look at the great catch by Randy Reddy. But Pirates starter Doug Drabek is the story on this sunny Sunday afternoon at Three Rivers Stadium. He goes all the way for the complete game victory. He throws a two-hitter, and he strikes out 8. Here he ends the top of the 8th inning by striking out Tommy Herr looking, as home plate umpire Steve Ripley punches him out, and Herr's not too thrilled with the call. Here's the final out of the game. Rod Booker with the smash. Drabek fields it, fires over to first. The final 2-1 Pittsburgh. Drabek gets the win. He's 13-4. Combs takes the loss. He's 6-8. And the Pirates snap a 4-game losing streak and avoid the sweep.
Left the roof open in Montreal on Sunday afternoon, but that didn't help the Expos as they lost 2-1 to the Chicago Cubs in the top of the first inning. Dwight Smith walked, stole second, and came around to score on this RBI single by Mark Grace, his 36th RBI on the year. Mike Harkey pitched a fine ball game for the Cubs as he went 7 1/3 innings, striking out 5 batters. He allowed only 1 run. There he strikes out Delino DeShields in the bottom of the first inning. As the game wore on, the shadows moved between the pitchers and the batters. That made it tough for the hitters, but the pitchers had no problem as Kevin Gross went 7 innings, allowing only 3 hits, but he took the loss in this game. There he strikes out Dave Clark in the top of the 4th inning. Between innings in Montreal, they have the Lambada dance going on top of the dugout. Lots of interested spectators in the first row. In the top of the 7th inning, Shawan Dunston would pick up an RBI. It's 53rd on the year with a sacrifice fly to score Dave Clark from third base. That would be all the runs the Cubs would need on this day, as despite the dirty dancing, the Expos just couldn't seem to get anything going. As Don Zimmer's Cubs take 3 out of 4 in the weekend series with the Expos. In the bottom of the 7th inning, Harkey surrendered this triple to Tim Wallach with 1 out. A great try by Doug DeCenzo out in right center field, but it falls out of his glove. Wallach would go to third base on the triple, and he would come around to score the Expos' only run of the game with 1 out, as Andres Galarraga grounded out to Ryan Sandberg. On the 4-3 play, Wallach scored the Expos' only run. That made it 2-1, and that was the final score, as Mitch Williams got out of a jam in the 8th inning. Then in the 9th inning, he got Junior Noboa to fly out to end the game, picking up his 12th save on the year. He went an inning and 2/3 in relief. Mike Harkey got the win. He's 9-5. Kevin Gross allowed only 3 hits, but he gets the hard luck loss. His record is now